Welcome back, my friends, to the darkest of times in Germany. We're playing through this survival of our resistance group in Germany. And we have a big problem. We're very, very unhappy because a lot of our missions have failed. And we know no real way to make a party, to do something that would lift the morale up. Sticking together for now, but it could be critical that we have a big success. Let's plan the missions and let's show some resistance against the regime. My goodness, we have a lot of supporters, but we have terrible morale. Let's see if we can do something, anything that would lift us up here. We collect donations in wedding now. We could go dancing. That's probably something we should do. We have the money. We have to do something like that. We can go for black market deals. And there's so many opportunities right now. But really, we should just go dancing, my friends. Because something else would be bad. Let's see. Dance and laugh and feel happy in this moment. Morale would be very good. The costs, yeah, they are there, but sometimes we need a break. Going dancing is a good opportunity to clear the head. Let's confirm. We lost 3 supporters. Well, we're getting something in, though. It's okay. We travel to the east of Berlin and visit a nightclub that's still playing what the Nazis call Negro music, probably jazz. Despite the ban of all un-German music, let's dance. We dance all night, like there's no tomorrow, and have a wonderful time. When we finally leave, the day is already dawning. This felt good. We need this back. Decide to go dancing, listen to good music. We have a lot of fun dancing and laughing the whole night and feel recreated. Yeah. It's important to do this from time to time. There's a new German bomber presented at an air show. The new Junkers Ju-86 manages to impress the audience at an international air show in Stockholm. Italy calls all men to militia. In future, all men between the ages of 21 and 55 who are capable of carrying weapons will have to join the Italian militia. So, men are going to suffer for delusional wars. Official warning to all motorists. Due to the increase in accidents, the Ministry of Justice issued a warning to motorists to drive cautiously after alcohol consumption. Yeah, I mean, these laws were pretty lax then. If you could walk, you could drive, basically. That was the law. 24th of May 1936 it is, and at our meeting, Maria Esser holds her head in her hands. Is this about your son in the Hitler Youth, Maria? Yes, it is. She lets out a sigh. It's terrible. They are rehearsing songs for the Olympics, and he won't stop singing them at home, singing praise to Hitler. It's like they stole him from me. There's still time to win him back. I think it's set in stone. You still have time to teach him, I say. A hit again to the morale, but we're kind of okay now again. We cannot go dancing right now. What could we do to get in better? We could produce leaflets manually. That would be great. But setting up a workshop would be even greater. Could break into factory. We could buy paint again to do that. Get a lot of supporters in. We need to work with the Christian community again. So let's see, we could meet an official. Oh, that would be very interesting. Black market deals. Buy paper. Buy paint. Let's see, get a fake passport. Spread leaflets on campus. Yeah, that wouldn't be so bad. Gain access to the factory, and that would help spread leaflets? I don't know. Gain access to a quarry. Help people to cross the border would be at extreme risk. Writing slogans on walls. Yeah! That would be something good too. But right now, let me have a look at that. We need money. We have stacks of paper, so we could produce some leaflets. But for now, we need some money. We need to get that done. In Kreuzberg and probably in Wedding too. Our supporters among the workers in Wedding might be willing to help us out with some donations. Let us see. Oh, freelancer would be good. And he's an altruist. He could do well at that too. Look at that. He's an altruist and a Catholic conservative. That's what the others like about him. Could give him the bicycle. And then he'll do pretty well there. How about both? And that always sets the risk up so high. Let's send him over. He must do it with a bicycle. And then in Kreuzberg we have Maria Esser for this. She's always doing very well. Hopefully this time again. Producing leaflets. Court. Oh, it's dangerous. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty dangerous. Götz could help. It's from 2 to 2 to 3. I don't know if that's really great. And if it... no. Karin? No. Court. It's gotta be Court. He'll produce leaflets. He's a teacher. And he's kind of good at it. He's not eloquent, but what can you do? Court. You're in there. Hopefully you'll do well. Now, Götz. Talk to workers. But open up something here. Talk to the Christian community. And here we have a businessman and academics. I could unlock donations in Spandau. She could do it, but she'd not be good at that. Götz will be terrible at that. No, that's not a good option. Find black market deals. I only have the 20 marks though. Hildegard Zimmermann knows her way through the shady areas of Reinickendorf and is willing to introduce us to people. Yeah? Karin? Nah, that wouldn't be good. Götz, no, no. Not a good way. Not something good. The Christian community. Yeah. That's going to be okay with Karin. Götz would really help there as well. The danger is not rising, so it's doubling the kind of support we'll get. Let's do that. Here we go. A lot of donations coming in. And now... Courtworth is writing Immanuel printing leaflets all night long. It's hard physical work, and while he's trying his best, he's only producing a small amount. 2. Well, it's better than nothing. At Hagestein visits the group's known supporters among workers in Wedding to ask for additional donations. He's so successful. People are upset about the latest atrocities and are willing to help the group, but he has been seen. Count Leopold meets with people from the Christian community in Wedding and talks with them about the regime. Quite a few think that Hitler's way is against God. As a Christian, they should do something about the situation. Others have doubts. And now Maria Esser visits the group's known supporters in Kreuzberg. Oh my goodness, let's hide. She's successful still. Gets a little bit less, but thankfully she's not being seen. And so the moral decline is so bad. It's so bad. It's so terrible to live here. Act and unite. German socialists, communists and Democrats living in exile in Paris call for the formation of a German popular front in a call to act and unite. Hitler Youth Full is subject to a general admission ban until April 20, 1937, because its member goal had already been reached. There's not enough cars. While 1.6 million Germans wish to buy a car, only 800,000 are available in the Reich. Just before the meeting, Gerd Hagelstein takes me aside and tells me he believes Götz Irre is working with Gestapo and is snitching on the group. Wow. Götz, he's always been so useful. That cannot be. We'll talk to Götz. I ask Götz if there's anything he wants to tell me. He looks surprised and says he has no idea what I'm talking about. No wiser. I still need to make a decision. Huh. We cannot believe he's a snitch. He's been with us for so long. Gerhard is also very good. We'll keep him in the group, but isolate him. I won't allow him to join any critical missions for a while. He looks displeased when he hears about my decision. Yeah. Everyone's unhappy. What can you do? Maria can level up. Oh, nice. I have no idea about her. What could she do? She could level up her strength. We haven't used strength much. She could level up her literacy as a writer. That's probably useful. Her secrecy. Yeah, she's already good at so many things. We need secrecy in all of this. So much secrecy. It would probably be time to celebrate again. If we have some place to celebrate something anywhere, that would be it. Gerd Hagelstein and Kurt Wirth and Karin Leopold should probably go into hiding. Let's go for that. It's just needed. Götz. You could collect money for us. Anywhere. Collecting donations in Kreuzberg. That would be a good place for him. And Maria. Maybe in Wedding. Oh yeah, look at that. That's cool. But on the other hand, she's a social democrat, so that's not that cool. How about Götz? He's actually okay there. Let's give him a bicycle. Maybe a stack of leaflets. No, that's too risky. Let's just give him the bicycle. We need some more donations. How about the leaflets? Yeah. Not right now. Let's go for it. Supporters donated 16 marks. Hopefully we'll gain some more money. Workers in Kreuzberg. She's successful. Very nice. Getting a lot of money in. That's going to help us a lot. And in Wedding, he's also successful. Getting even more. 23 marks. Kurt Wirth has retreated to a safe place where nobody knows him. When he returns, he feels much safer than before. Morale is declining. New law against degenerate art. The German government enacts a law on the confiscation of degenerate art products. Foreign-sounding stage name is banned. From now on, the use of a foreign-sounding stage name is forbidden. The acceptance of a pseudonym must be approved by the Office for Art and Music. Anti-forgery banknotes. New counterfeit proof banknotes are put into circulation in Germany. Actually, this with foreign sounding stuff is... I mean, there's something in France that is still, I think, currently there. The Académie Française has... Well, it's not forced, but it's a policy that a lot of things get translated into with new words into French. I think that's quite cool, because it's not forced. And they have a fixed quota of radio stations that are out there in France and that play French music. So, if that's all not mandatory, that's fine, but this is... And of course, what's degenerate art? That's something very... You can label anything degenerate if you want so. So, that's just something like to be able to hit on people that you don't like. 7th of June 1936. I'm waiting for the last group member to arrive when Gerd Hagelstein says, "Are we waiting for Götz Irre? He isn't coming." But why not? Was he really a snitch? Hagelstein's eyes flash with fury. He isn't coming because, as I told you weeks ago, he's a damn rat. But no, you kept him around, and now he's telling the Nazis everything. Is he really? Oh my goodness. And now everyone got heat. Let's find a new member though. Who can do it? We need a new member. Direly. Gerhard. He's the best to do that. Let's give him a bicycle. And some money. Money won't help. Leaflet. Leaflet would help a bit. It would also be more dangerous though. So let's try that. We're in the green. He's got a bicycle. Hagelstein, we trust on you. We need to hide again. Because we trusted the wrong people. Here we go. Got donations in at least. Hagelstein talks to dedicated supporters to find out if they would be willing to join our group. He finds 3 who thinks might be able to become core members of the group. Now it's on us to decide which one should join our group. We have a communist judge. Wow, he survived that as a judge here. That's crazy. We have a moderate liberal electrician and a social democrat baker. No Christians. That's so bad. That's so bad. Who are we becoming right here? Maybe a social democrat is okay, right? But let's see what skills we need. So, and strong would be good. I mean, she's the balanced thing without many things about literacy. We're okay with the low literacy. The moderate liberal, maybe that's good. Baker a judge. We don't have an official though. It's bad at propaganda. So the thing is, he's a judge, and having a state official would probably be very helpful. It's also something that as a conservative we like, even if he is a communist. A communist. My goodness. My goodness. Let's pick Wilhelm Etter. He's also got a nice beard. Godworth has retreated to a safe place where nobody knows him. When he returns, he feels much safer than before. Through the train window, I can see the landscape rushing by. Mountains, forests, villages and cities. I haven't left the country in years. Oh. Germany. What have they done to you? The train stops. Seems like we have reached the border. Someone opens the door to my compartment. A man wearing a German border control uniform stands in the entrance and barks, "Heil Hitler, papers please." I'll hand him the passport. That's decidedly unfriendly. He takes my passport, checks it carefully, and finally hands it back to me. Without a word, he closes the door. The train starts rolling again, but a few minutes later it stops a second time. Someone knocks at the door. "Come in." "Bonjour, monsieur. Votre passeport, s'il vous plaît," says a slightly overweight man in a black uniform. I'll hand him the passport. He takes a brief look at the photo in my passport and at me before handing the document back with a smile. "Merci beaucoup. Je vous souhaite un bon voyage." The train starts again. How friendly he was. We arrive at the Gare du Nord in Paris. I grab my small suitcase and leave the train. On the platform, a young woman is waving at me. It's been years, but I immediately recognize Claire. I first met her in Berlin, and now she's my contact to the resistance here in Paris. "Kurt, welcome. So good to see you here," we hug. "How was the journey?" she asks. It's interesting to leave Germany after such a long time. "Oh, I can imagine." She says, "Can I help you with your luggage?" I don't know. Well, it's fine. I can carry it myself. We meet our friends at 3 o'clock at the nice cafe not far from here. Should I show you the city in the meantime? Yeah, show me Paris. We walk down a boulevard toward the Seine. Claire points at important buildings and monuments and tells me about their history. People sit on terraces, drinking coffee. Everything is wild and colorful. The clothes people are wearing, the items for sale in the shop windows, the advertisements on the city walls. "What do you think?" asks Claire. "It's wonderful." "How are things in Germany now?" asks Claire. "The Nazis have become meek and mild. They're trying to use the Olympic Games to convince the foreign press and foreign governments that Hitler's Germany is just a normal country. But under the hood, there's that same terror as before. Incredible that you people are still holding up," says Claire. "I don't know if I could stand it. How do you do it?" "Well, it is hard, but what choice do we have?" "Which part is the worst?" asks Claire. That's probably we're a Catholic and a conservative, and so the destruction of the state would be the thing. So the terror, probably. Yeah, it's the terror. "I'm sorry," says Claire. "Maybe your time here can distract you a little bit." "Oh, here we are. This is where we are meeting the others." She points at a cafe by the Seine right in front of us. Let us meet them. A waiter brings us to a table for 4. Our friends have not arrived yet. I take a seat and enjoy the view of the Seine and Notre Dame Cathedral. Claire orders. The hands of my watch strike 3. "Do you think your friends are on their way?" "Are you Germans and your punctuality? You are in Paris now. Get used to a little bit of laissez-faire." "Oh," she points at a couple moving toward us, "and here they are." I'm sorry. The two introduce themselves as Hannah and Richard. Both are German communists who left Germany in 1934 to escape persecution by the Gestapo. I tell them how things have changed since they left. Richard looks at me and says, "You know what you have to do, don't you?" "Go away?" I'm not sure. Let's be confident. That's why I'm here. It's good that you came. From what you're describing, there's no way you can convince the German people to get rid of the fascists right now, says Richard. No, if the German people knew the truth, they'd chase Hitler out of the country. Let's be confident here. Hannah gives me an amused look and says, "You really think so?" "Be that as it is," says Richard, "even if every single German supported Hitler and his regime, we would still need to put a stop to it. Having the support of large swaths of the population cannot be an excuse for terror," says Hannah. There is no excuse for terror. Hitler persuaded the people of Germany, making them unwilling or unable to stop the regime, then people outside Germany need to stand up and stop him. What do you mean by the people outside Germany? There's only one people with a clear anti-fascist agenda and the strength to beat Germany, says Richard. The people who managed to defeat the aristocracy and the bourgeoisie. Oh my god. That's not going well with a Catholic conservative like us. I think I know. No, I don't know who you're talking about. Give me someone else to work with. I'm talking about the glorious compatriots of the Soviet Union, of course. Who else is willing and able to defeat Hitler and the fascists at this point? Well, the enemy of your enemy is your friend, right? I hope you're not talking about war. Hitler means war. We know that. You know that. People of Germany have been blinded and will follow him like the lambs to the slaughter. Your group is tiny and isolated. You must join sides with the only decidedly anti-fascist country in Europe that is left, the Soviet Union. How could we join sides with the Soviets, though? Here, says Hannah, and reaches me a note with an address. Go to this place in Berlin if you want to join forces with the Soviets. They will help you. Maybe anything to stop this? As a Christian duty, and we now have a communist judge, he could do that. I need to think about this. We need to leave now, says Claire. There's someone else you need to meet. Who do you mean, asks Hannah. That bourgeois deviant George? Claire nods. Who are you talking about? You'll see, says Claire, when we meet him. Don't listen to George, says Hannah. He's a bourgeois and a scatterbrain. George thinks the world will become a better place by hanging out in expensive Parisian bars. Interesting. That's enough, Hannah, says Claire, and walks out. Let's go, Kurt. Goodbye, Comrade Kurt, says Ricard. Oh, we're not Comrade Kurt. That feels wrong. It was good to meet you, and Hannah is right. Do not listen to George. Mind that we're role-playing a Catholic conservative, and we really don't like being called Comrade. We'll follow Claire. I follow Claire across the still crowded boulevards. It's getting dark, and I see more and more people dress up in gowns and dinner jackets who look like they're on their way to an evening event. We enter a bar next to a giant hotel. The wooden counter in the bar is the longest I've ever seen. Over here, says Claire. I'll follow her lead. Claire leads me to a young man sitting at one corner of the unusually long bar. He has a bottle in front of him and takes a long sip from his glass when he notices us. George, hello, says Claire. This is the visitor from Germany I told you about. Cheers, says the man. Points his glass in my direction for emptying it. Welcome to Paris. Thank you. My name is George. I'm a writer for the Voice of Freedom in the City of Love, he says. We should dispense with the serious things as quickly as possible so we can get to the fun stuff. Don't you agree? What's his name again, Claire? My name is Kurt Wirth. Shh, says George, and looks left and right. No last names. The city might still look free, but the bloody Gestapo has agents everywhere. So, Kurt, listen carefully. What do you know about Spain? He gives the waiter a sign. Political unrest? Still democracy? Yeah, I conclude. You don't know anything. What you need to know is there will be civil war in Spain soon. The fascists will try to take over, but other factions won't let that happen. The waiter puts 2 glasses on the bar, one for me and one for Claire. And, I see. I'm a writer. I know these kinds of things. I have sources. I'm also working with the British Secret Service. Something I could recommend you do as well. George fills our glasses. Why would they be interested in working with me? Trust me, they will be. See, what will happen in Spain is more than just some civil war. Spain will be the final rehearsal for the big war everyone is waiting for. Cheers. He holds up his glass, and we do the same. What big war? Have you ever listened to Hitler, says George. The man has been publicly talking about his plans for war since 1923. He even wrote a bloody book about it, for Christ's sakes. Well, you have a point. He continues. Everything he does is according to this big plan, getting Germany ready for war, win over the people, build weapons, weaken the enemies. The question is not if Hitler will start a war, but when he will start it, and who he will attack first. And who will that be? That I don't know, but I do know that the key to defeating this little crazy warmonger is the bloody United Kingdom, and no one else. So why... I mean, we're definitely interested more in the United Kingdom. They're at least Christians. Why is the United Kingdom the key to stopping Hitler? Ah, I guess you talk to Hannah and Rickard. Don't listen to them. They believe every one of the NKVD and Comrade Stalin's lies, even though they should know better by now. Fills his glass again. The bottle is empty now, so he signals the waiter with a new bottle on the bar. What do you mean? See, I'm a socialist. I should love the Soviet Union. The working man's paradise, shouldn't I? But I don't. To this day, I prefer living in capitalist France to the place that Stalin made out of Russia. I've heard too many stories from people I trust, says George. What have you heard? Nah. What's your suggestion? What's this pointing to? Hitler will try to get the Brits on his side. If you had read his book, you'd know that he considers the British to be the natural allies of the Germans. If he succeeds in making them his allies, you understand? I think I understand, I say. If he makes the British his enemies on the other side, if he succeeds in making the British allies, he will win the war. If he fails, he will lose it, I say. I like your friend Claire. I like your friend Claire. He's clever, says George. Exactly. Because whoever is an ally of the British is also an ally of the bloody Americans. And I have the strong suspicion that the colonies will play an important part in that next big war. So what do you suggest to do? Here, he hands me a note with an address in Berlin. Find intel that convince the British. Convince them that they cannot, never, and under no circumstances align with Hitler. Got it? Thank you. Do whatever you think is right, but do what I told you, says George and smiles. So, now that we have all done our duty, we should switch to the joyful part of the evening. Garçon? Why the hell are there no drinks in front of us? Spend the evening with them. George is a great entertainer who manages to keep the conversation away from anything political for the rest of the evening. We spent a great night with him, reminded of more light-hearted times back in Berlin. Let's leave and go to the hotel. It's late when I arrive at the hotel. From the window of my room I see the Eiffel Tower, illuminated in the middle of a lively city. Tomorrow I need to return to Berlin and share my learnings with a group. Will Berlin ever be like this again? The day's impressions keep me awake until long after midnight, mixed with memories of old Berlin. And it's again very low. The morale. My goodness. Ugh. Strikes all over Spain. The strikers demand higher wages and better working conditions and oppose the restraint reform policy of the left Republican government. New Navy training sailing ship. In Hamburg, a second sailing training ship of the German Navy, the Horst vessel, is launched. Finance Minister. Germans must learn to get by with little. The Germans have to hold their ground and should therefore be thrifty and be able to cope with scarcity. More war preparations. 14th of June 1936. Sorry I'm late again, says Gerd Hagelstein as he arrives at tonight's meeting. I could hardly get onto a train. They are so crowded. Yeah, we're compassionate. We're Christian. It's difficult for me too. I'm having a hard time getting around the town as well. I say, tourists everywhere today. I read in the paper that the Berlin's metro system has served 62 million people in 20 days, says Willem Etter. Can you imagine that? If we'd spent leaflets at one of the central stations, we would reach a lot of people at once, says Gerhard. Huh. We have to take advantage of this. Sounds like an opportunity for us to pull back the curtain and show outsiders what's really going on, I say. So we have some very important missions. Spreading leaflets. Let's see if we can do something like that. Could meet some more friends. We could stay down. Wow, Hagelstein is really under some scrutiny, right? He didn't go well there. We need to do something for the morale too. Where can we do that? What is to be done? Make records disappear. Helping us cover our tracks. our contact with the authorities may be willing to make information collected about us disappear. That costs a lot. We're missing marks for that. So that would be a goal to get that done. You could go into hiding for another round. It would certainly make a lot of sense. But how would we get some morale at least? What do we have? We have 2 leaflets. There's the train station. We could visit a museum together. I don't know if that's so great. I think we might have to do it. Let's see. Tell the world. That would be extreme. Freedom Bell. That would be extreme. Could maybe visit a museum. Professor of the Fine Arts Lotte Altmann becomes our supporter and tells us in which museum we can still see forbidden un-German art if we want. We can now visit a museum. That would help us. Yeah, let's do it. We have no choice. Getting the marks in. We visit one of the last art galleries in Berlin that still exhibits what Nazis call degenerate art. This is beautiful. Feels good to look at the wonderful artworks, and the group feels reaffirmed in their purpose. We need this back. Visit one of the last art galleries. It shows what the Nazis now call degenerate art. It feels good to look at the wonderful artworks, and the group feels reaffirmed in their purpose. 23 anti-fascists sentenced to prison for high treason by a Berlin court. The accused are said to have smuggled propaganda of the Copenhagen Social Democratic Party into the German Reich. Himmler, now chief of German police, the Reichsführer of the SS Heinrich Himmler, is appointed chief of the German police. Yeah, that's where things close down on like everyone. That is not with the regime right now. Get a ticket for the Summer Games now. Last chance to get your ticket for the Olympic Games. Sale will end this week. During our meeting, Wilhelm Etter is angry after having dinner with his parents. They had a friend over who is a member of the Nazi party. What did he say? This bastard was actually angry that the regime had toned things down. He was upset that they tore down the anti-Semitic posters. He said the party is embarrassed. They should get back to what they were doing, making Germany great again. Well, if we ever needed a reminder. So remember, things may seem better now, but the real threat is lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to come back, I say. Let's see what we can do now. That morale is a little bit better. We still have some supporters, and that is good. We've lost some heat. Even Gerd Hagelstein is maybe able to do something again. What is it what we could do? A social democrat, the priest. What can Anna Koppe do? Oh, look at that. Oh, she's unlocked a lot here. Talking to workers. Printing leaflets. We can set up a workshop right now. You can still do it. Set up a workshop, print leaflets. Meet an official. It's hard to tell what we should do, right? Setting up a workshop is definitely possible. If we talk to workers, we could set up the workshop, then print leaflets. A lot of paper. We'll talk to workers. Bruno Baumann, a worker and supporter of the group, wants to introduce us to some of his co-workers. See if we can convince them to help us. Maria would be good at this. Wilhelm Etter would also be good at this, because he's a communist. Karin, not good. Gerhard, terrible at that. Kurt, bad at that. So I think we want our judge to be doing this. See, he doesn't need the bicycle. He'll talk to the workers. He's a communist. He should be able to do that. And now... maybe find black market deals. That's not so good. Observe SA activities. Now we should get some money in if we can. Maybe Karin. The bicycle too. In wedding. Yeah, that would be good. How about a stack of leaflets? Yeah, there's that, but let's just run with a bicycle. Then we've got it in Kreuzberg. Maria Esser is doing well with that, and we can get double the amount. The stack of leaflets. We don't need to play it that risky. But we need to do it. And Hagelstein. A Furrier and Catholic conservative. Let's see what we can make him do. Could he go find black market deals? Nah, he would be absolutely super terrible at that. Observe the activities? Nah. Talk to academics? No. That's bad. Maybe it'd go buy paint. He's not good at that too. Could talk to the Christian community. It's probably the best we can do. Talk to the Christian community. Or we could do just about nothing. Let's see if we can buy some paint. My goodness me. about you meet a friend? Not the best way. Soviet Seaglass found someone. And that's okay, we'll meet an official. There are rumors of officials who are unhappy with the new regime. If we could convince one of them to collaborate, we might be able to gain invaluable intel. Here we go. Court. Peter Road approaches me in front of our building. Peter, you look happier than I've seen you in years. It's because I am, he says cheerily. We have good news. Did you get your visa to the US? Better, I'm staying here. You're staying? But I thought you were going to emigrate. That was the idea, yes, but recent developments have convinced me and my family to give it another try. Seems like the government is going for a different policy in how they intend to treat us. You really think so? What about the Nuremberg laws? Seems like they're not going to implement the worst discrimination against us. They have even improved in some areas. Look over there, he points at a public bench. What's with that bench? Used to have a sign saying Aryans only. Look at it now. The sign is gone. It's then the same with public transport. There used to be Aryan only areas, but all those signs are gone now. Well, I hope you're right. You know what I think? I think during these early years they had to appease to the rather primitive anti-Semites from the SA and so on. But now they're trying to just become a normal country. Does a normal country discriminate against an entire part of its population just because of their religion? Of course not. So they get rid of that. I'm glad they are being less discriminatory, but I really doubt that they are truly evening out. Just wait. In a year from now, we Jews will be treated just as normal citizens of the Reich. And what will you do if they persecute you again? And we can still emigrate, can't we? Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, Peter. I really do. We got some marks from the supporters. Let's see if we can get some more. Maria Esser. In Kreuzberg again. Convincing some people, but she's been seen. Wilhelm Etter meets with co-workers of our supporters in Kreuzberg, talks to them. And he can convince a lot and opens up the option to print leaflets. Gerd Hagenstein meets in Mitte with a well-connected employee of the government who might be willing to help us. The employee is unhappy with the direction of the regime and says there are more like him. Colonel Leopold with the group's known supporters among workers. Oh no, let's hide. To abort the mission. Nothing much had happened. The morale is still, well, bad. Gestapo arrests 800 anti-fascists in Berlin. As a preventive measure, the Gestapo arrests 800 anti-fascists so that the Olympic Games would not be disturbed by political actions of the resistance. It's all about the image now. Opel fires striking workers. The management of the Opel factories in Rüsselsheim reacts to strikes due to wage cuts by letting striking workers go. Yeah, so the so-called National Socialists weren't that socialist, right? Because they were all in on that. Gründgens marries Hoppe. The famous actor Gustav Gründgens marries the equally famous actress Marianne Hoppe in Berlin. And as far as I know, Gründgens was pretty gay, and that was a cover-up move. So that's something that you had to do there. Lie. Lie even with your actions to be able to survive. 28th of June 1936. Toward the end of our meeting, Ria Esser tells us about an encounter with tourists in the city. So there were two ladies from England admiring the Berliner Dome, and I was close enough to overhear them. Did they say anything about the Nazis? Being on, that's what I'm getting to. Maria takes a deep breath. So they're saying, oh, everything is so lovely, and we've heard all these terrible things about persecuting and killing Jews. Clearly none of it is true. Did you try to say something? Oh, believe me, I almost jumped in right there and then said to set this record straight, but I could see there was a policeman nearby. It wasn't worth the risk. I walked away. Yeah, it's best to let it go and be safe. You don't want the police to know who you are, I say. Already know who we are. The leader of this group, called Worth. Thank you for watching. Resist what you don't like and support what you like. For example, the channel. Have a great time until next time, and happy gaming. We'll get together through these darkest of times, so we can enjoy better times together again, my friends. A great time until next time, and happy gaming. This is Immanuel signing out. See you soon.